been going through some shit that's getting real now. Yeah, people dying all around me, man, I'm telling you this shit is getting real now. Yeah, lost my grandma, didn't know it, can you tell me how that feel now? Yeah, got a message saying sorry for your loss, I didn't know if it was real now. Praying that they got the wrong number, tell me how the fuck I got a deal now. I was going through the motions, I was doing all my shit. Turning 20 in the city, I was too focused to quit. Got on FaceTime with my granny and she told me she was proud. 1 week later she was gone and now she up above the clouds. Never got the chance to tell her that I loved her for her legacy. Everything she did and all she wanted was the best for me. Tell me why the good times always coming with the bad. Never thought I'd see the tears ever coming from my dad. I've been on a mission ever since, get it while I can. Every day I gotta reminisce, thinking about the past. I've been killing all these beats, I've been shitting on these rappers. I've been praying that I never gotta settle, living average. Gotta buy my mama crib, gotta buy my dad a whip, gotta buy my bro the world, gotta get it while I live. I don't take no shit for granted, cause I seen it come and go. I'ma take over the planet, yeah, you fuckers better know. I've been going through some shit that's getting real now. Yeah, people dying all around me, man, I'm telling you this shit is getting real now. Yeah, lost my grandma, didn't know it, can you tell me how that feel now? Yeah, got a message saying sorry for your loss, I didn't know if it was real now. Praying that they got the wrong number, tell me how the fuck I got a deal now. I've been battling these thoughts that been running through my mind, trying to make my parents proud, taking one step at a time. But nobody understands all the shit that I've been going through. Working on the music while I'm studying in dental school, thinking about just dropping out and doing what I love. But I can't imagine leaving my whole family in the mud. But they never raised a coward, I'ma finish what I started. I'ma juggle all the shit and keep on working at my hardest. I've been going where my heart is, yeah, I know that I'm the smartest. Never thinking about the parties, I've been doing what my part is. I've been battling the best, I'ma let God do the rest. I'm not getting any rest, working till I got up next. Yeah, I know this shit ain't what it seems, but I know I'm blessed. Every time that life is hard, man, I know that shit a test. They've been trying to cut the weak, only made it for the best. I just pray before I sleep and now I get what I request. Hey, when I shoot my shot, I don't miss, yeah. I'm too lit, yeah. And my time is all I got. Put a Rolex on my wrist, yeah. I'm in a mix, yeah. Everything hits, yeah. I'm getting rich, yeah. When I shoot my shot, I don't miss, yeah. I'm too lit, yeah. And my time is all I got. Put a Rolex on my wrist, yeah. I'm in a mix, yeah. Everything hits, yeah. Ain't about the dollars, it don't make no sense, yeah. My main chick is the finest. Side chick got a sidekick. I've been racking up mileage, never closing my eyelids. See my dreams with my eyes open. Got a view, someone die for it. Not the type to go lie for it. I've been better off keeping all of my W's to myself now. A lot of people wanna get inside of my shoes, but they'd have a meltdown. Yeah, this life is not easy. Paranoia start creeping. One day you got everything and the next day it's all leaving. I know that I signed up for this, had to make a new bucket list. Seen the world like 2 times and I'm about to plan out another trip. Got the Porsche but I'm about to go cop another whip. Lot of blessings been coming in, praying this won't ever end. When I shoot my shot, I don't miss, yeah. I'm too lit, yeah. And my time is all I got. Put a Rolex on my wrist, yeah. I'm in a mix, yeah. Everything hits, yeah. I'm getting rich, yeah. When I shoot my shot, I don't miss, yeah. I'm too lit, yeah. And my time is all I got. Put a Rolex on my wrist, yeah. I'm in a mix, yeah. Everything hits, yeah. Ain't about the dollars, it don't make no sense, yeah. Feels like everybody watching. 808 got the bass knocking. Taking L's, that's not an option. Now I gotta go get it poppin'. No stylist, I do the shopping. Picture perfect, don't do the cropping. Tinted windows for when I hop in. I done seen all the brightest brightest lights come out and shine in the darkest times. And I've been trying to find some peace of mind in this life of mine. Scary thoughts get amplified, better days get minimized. Everybody trying to give advice, years later they come back and they criticize. I know I'm made for this, I'm well equipped. 10 years I stayed down and I built for this. Too hungry, I kill for this. Lately I've been eating all of the fruits of my own labor. It's not artificially flavored, nah. When I shoot my shot, I don't miss, yeah. I'm too lit, yeah. And my time is all I got. Put a Rolex on my wrist, yeah. I'm in the mix, yeah. Everything hits, yeah. I'm getting rich, yeah. When I shoot my shot, I don't miss, yeah. I'm too lit, yeah. And my time is all I got. Put a Rolex on my wrist, yeah. I'm in the mix, yeah. Everything hits, yeah. Ain't about the dollars, it don't make no sense, yeah. I know a girl and I call her Mercedes. The way that she always be driving me crazy. I'm independent so nobody made me. I'm getting the bag, I won't fumble like Brady. I get the bands when I'm with friends. My life a movie, I've been on demand. I got my fans, they holding me down. I've been in the clouds, I'm never gon' land. I've been on the scene, I move with my team. I never been scared to just say what I mean. And they cannot see me, they call me John Cena. Drip when I walk like I got Aquafina. Already did everything on my bucket list. Giving McDonald's the way they be loving it. I set the bar and they be falling under it. I've been too good at this, they cannot fuck with a league of my own. Don't compare me to them, they not on what I'm on. We can go song for a song, whatever they want. You not coming close, so just leave me alone. I started with nothing, I made me some millies. I had to leave home cause I need a new city. Believed in myself when nobody was with me. I got a big heart, but I don't got no pity. I know a girl and I call her Mercedes. The way that she always be driving me crazy. I'm independent, so nobody made me. I'm getting the bag, I won't fumble like Brady. I get the bands when I'm with friends. My life a movie, I've been on demand. I got my fans, they holding me down. I've been in the clouds, I'm never gon' land. I'm about to ball like I play in arenas, yeah. I got my stripes like Adidas, yeah. I've been a coupe and it don't got a ceiling. I'm never gon' follow, I'm leading, yeah. Only gon' listen to what I'm releasing. A lot of them frauds, but people believe them. I'ma just keep doing me, cause being yourself is how you be free. I put my loyalty over the money, but no one around me gon' ever be hungry. They used to laugh at me back in the day. Now they be trying to reach out and it's funny. Come to Miami and they trying to kick it, but we haven't spoke on the phone in a minute. She call me daddy, but I don't got children. I don't take no chances. I like how I'm living. I know a girl
and Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and especially to my co-host, Jason Miller. Happy Tuesday, sir.
Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, man. We are finally I hope we keep falling off the track and then we get back on the track and then, we got to keep this train rolling.
I don't know what this falling off the track is that you're talking about. We're here. We made it. We stream.
We did.
When we say we're going to stream. It may be plus or minus a day or two, but hey, we get the stream in. We do. How you doing, buddy? How was your mountain trip?
The mountain trip was awesome.
Did you go to the biscuit place I sent you?
I couldn't. I looked it up. I had it in the GPS, but our plans changed from like a timing and location perspective. So I told my wife, I said, we got to go back and we got to try this biscuit place.
There you go.
And like not being in a rush, because it does look like there's going to be a little bit of wait when we get there.
Yeah, it's pretty popular. It was pretty popular. We had to wait in line a little bit when we went there, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Welcome chat. Welcome to today's threat brief. I'm going to hit the rules really fast. We got a lot to cover today, Jason. Your team brought the mail on threats for today, for sure.
We had like this big, bag of mail.
For sure. Let's hit the rules really fast. Chat, if you're new to the stream, Welcome. This is our Tuesday threat breakdown with Jason and the team at BitLift Cyber. Every other Tuesday we come together. Jason's team pulls together the latest threats that their team is actively seeing on the wire. To bring you actionable threat intelligence based on the things that obviously they're protecting clients with on a continuous basis, and they're passing that information completely and totally for free over to you so that you understand the attacks that are happening out there in the real world. So if you're new to the stream, that's what you're tuning into. Thank you very much. If you're a longtime viewer, first-time caller, thank you very much for your continued, patronage to the stream. We really do appreciate everybody, tuning in today. We have just a couple of rules that we're going to hit super fast. First and foremost, we keep chat free of any racist, sexist, misogynistic, elitist, and otherwise toxic behavior. We have a zero-tolerance policy for that inside of chat. With that being said, we do have moderators in chat. Huge shout out as always to our moderator team. Our moderator team is here to support chat and to support you and to make sure that those conversations in chat are free of any racist, sexist, misogynistic, elitist, and otherwise toxic behavior. They unfortunately have a zero tolerance policy, or maybe fortunately have a zero tolerance policy for that type of behavior as well inside of chat. And so gentle plug and reminder to hop on over to Discord. It's the best way to interact with the moderators if you do feel that you may have been inadvertently put onto some sort of timeout or ban as a result of any chat behavior. That does not mean that we do not encourage civil discourse. As a matter of fact, Jason and I here, we are experts in our field, but we are not the infinite know-alls as much as we try to pretend that we are on stream. As a matter of fact, having worked with Jason now for over 7 months, I can tell you he doesn't know everything. It's Noah. No. Noah's the one that knows everything.
Yeah. Like, you want to talk to Noah? Like, I'll go get him. He is the guy.
He's the man.
Yeah. I don't think he sleeps.
I don't think he does either. I don't know how you got him for 9 years with no rest, but I don't think he sleeps.
Yeah, it's amazing. If you, between caffeine and other stuff, just keeps you up.
And other stuff. You heard it here first, chat. You heard it here first. That's what it takes to run a SOC at BitLift is other stuff.
Yeah. Other stuff. The recipe is we cannot disclose the recipe.
Right.
Like Coca-Cola. Nobody knows the recipe.
Oh, people know what's in Coca-Cola. It's pretty well documented what's in Coca-Cola. It's in the first part of the name.
That's right. So
We do encourage civil discourse in chat. That does not mean that nobody's here to stifle chat by any stretch of the imagination. We absolutely love the civil discourse in chat. We just remind you to keep it civil and to encourage the discourse. Also, with that being said, obviously one of the biggest advantages of these streams being live is the ability to ask questions to Jason of myself live on stream, especially as we talk about these threats, as we talk about how defensive mechanisms work, especially as Jason talks about implementing countermeasures and strategies to these defensive tactics. So at any point in time, drop your question into chat. One of the moderators will grab the question from the chat and push it up onto the screen just like so. And then we will read off the question and answer said question at any point in time. That's right. One more thing. We are having giveaways. You do need to be inside the Discord and in the giveaway channel for the giveaways. We will be giving away some Try Hack Me vouchers. This week probably sometime as well. So make sure you are over into Discord for that as well. All right. That was probably the quickest rules brief I think I've ever done.
I know. And you didn't even have to use AI or a checklist in order to get it all out.
Speaking of AI, Jason.
I know.
Your first item on the list has got to be to talk about AI now.
It is because this thing isn't going away.
It's not.
Right? And it's only getting better and worse at the same time.
How can you say that? Technology only gets better. There's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with AI. Long live AI.
Long live AI. Yeah.
Close. We're getting close. We're definitely going to talk about some AI vulnerabilities and some AI stuff. I think Jason's got one on the list. And then, Jason, we couldn't, like you did read about the McDonald's one, right?
I did. You're gonna have to fill me in because
Yeah.
my head was sort of like full of all of these other things I was reading about trying to prep for today's stream.
Yeah, yeah. So
You
so
you
so
go ahead and share what was going on at McDonald's.
yeah, so McDonald's has an AI hiring bot.
Hmm.
And apparently the password on the AI hiring bot was 123456.
Come on, no way.
Yeah, way, 100%. Imagine that. Well, but here's the thing. And obviously, like, huge disclosure, it leaked a ton of, employee sensitive data, social security numbers, addresses, all that type of stuff, the stuff that comes with it. But and I think that I have multiple thoughts on this. As you can tell, my ADHD brain like haywired for a second there as I tried to vomit out all the things that I want to say about this, right? And I think chat says it best
because your information is now exposed.
You listen. Just because I was going to go flip burgers does not mean that my opinion doesn't count. Okay, all respect to the burger flippers out there.
But you're mostly upset because your job application was exposed.
You know what? Listen, are you judging me? Are you judging me for going to work at McDonald's?
No, everybody can have a job. Everybody's entitled to a job.
Everybody's entitled to their job. But I mean, and Chad said it best, right? Like, when are we going to prioritize hiring of a cybersecurity AI specialist? You don't need an AI specialist for this. This is passwords 101, people.
Yeah. I think that there's like some policies or some recommendations, some guidelines out there on the internet that people could like look up.
I think there's an organization that does
some
standard
4-letter
frameworks.
acronym. Yeah, frameworks.
Starts with an N, right? Pretty new.
And yeah.
NIST. That's what it is. It's NIST. God, if only there was an organization like NIST that would put out a password recommendation policy.
And the information should be free.
It should be.
So that everybody has access to this information.
How dare NIST gatekeep that from the poor security souls at McDonald's?
Let me tell you something. If you cannot pay for cybersecurity, you don't get it.
Obviously, chat, that's cynicism for those who are unfamiliar with the American nomenclature of cynicism right there. But yeah, like I appreciate the nomenclature of having a cybersecurity AI specialist, and I do have thoughts on that. But Jason, like, we don't need a cybersecurity specialist to follow fundamental cybersecurity principles.
This is where people in the organization might be inside your organization, might be not inside your organization, but think so little about, this is just going to be job applicants.
Yeah.
We don't need to really secure this. The password can be easy.
Yeah.
By all means, we need to make it easy for people to sign up and apply for a job at said organization.
Yeah.
So we're going to make the password like this, not thinking about the information that's going to be input into that system. And then if the system gets hacked, and it's not even like a difficult hack.
No, it was absolutely not.
It's just so frustrating. It's just so frustrating.
Do you, I mean, I imagine you see this, like, I imagine you get to a new organization that comes on board at BitLift, and I'm sure you've seen travesties like this before.
And it is so hard to convince these people because they believe that their thought pattern is the correct one.
Yeah.
And so we have to approach it with kid gloves.
Yeah.
Hey, this needs to meet the standard. And there is a standard set, by the way.
Yeah.
But it needs to meet the standard because the information, it shouldn't matter. It should not matter whether the information is of low priority, medium priority, or high priority. We should just say, you know what? There's information in here. First name, last name, maybe birth date, whatever the case may be. But we need to secure this with a standard.
Yes.
And so we do. We meet these individuals all the time. And then we have to convince them like, well, this system really isn't that important. It's such and such system. And it's like, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
because that can be used to not only infiltrate that, but what's then the next connecting system,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
That's down the chain.
Yep.
So if person gets into this system, what's the next system that it's connected to,
Or what's the
right?
data that's
And
feeding that system, or what
yeah,
system is that system sending data to? Like it's we have to stop looking at an individual system, and we have to look at the ecosystem of systems that are interconnected with it.
yes, 100%. And so you're kind of touching on something, and this question's touching on something that's very near and dear to my heart, is because we have we had a customer, we still have a customer, where we have constant ongoing conversations about HR requests. And we're like, well, there's really great software out there that can help you achieve in telling you whether your employee is working or not, or going to sites that are appropriate
Mm-hmm.
during work hours or not,
Mm-hmm.
or if they truly are working. But let me tell you what, like, cybersecurity is stretched and applied towards the entire organization.
Yeah.
There, it's not a matter of whether cybersecurity is part of a department or not anymore. They are 100%. Like, HR needs to understand where
Yep.
cybersecurity, it it doesn't start and stop. It's just integrated.
It is.
That's
It's
and so
interwoven in every part of the organization.
interwoven, and because here's the thing is HR can absolutely cause a cybersecurity breach.
That's right.
They can cause holes to be poked into the system, and they don't know any better
Yeah.
because they're HR. They're
Right.
there for human resources and the benefits and all the stuff that falls underneath their umbrella. They do not know and spend their time looking at and familiarizing themselves with cybersecurity related content.
Yeah.
So we have to, as cybersecurity professionals, we have to go and help HR. We
Yeah.
have to go and help the other departments because they are our biggest uh, vulnerabilities in a lot of cases.
So I do want to get to, because you have another, we have another AI thing, a legit AI vulnerability that I want to get to, but
Yeah.
you're pulling on a thread that I want to rabbit hole just for a second around that, right? Because when we think about attack surface, right, and there's a cynical comment that floats around cybersecurity that says users are the weakest link. And it's amazing when you watch Twitter, watch Reddit, watch LinkedIn. It's amazing how, like, there's a that's one of the statements that there's a massive, huge divide on in cybersecurity, because it's like, we got to stop blaming users. It's not the user's responsibility to understand cybersecurity. And then you've got the other cohort of people who are like, no, cybersecurity is everybody's responsibility. Everybody needs to take ownership of cybersecurity, and everybody's got to be responsible for it. So since we're talking about HR, and since we're talking about, cybersecurity being interwoven in the business, you defend organizations on a day-to-day basis. Who do end users own a responsibility to be cybersecurity savvy?
Yes.
Okay. Why?
The reason is and again, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
But now they don't have to be 100%. They don't have to be reading up on the latest CVEs and exploits. But what I would say is they have to be cyber secure aware.
Mm.
They have to be aware enough every day to do their job and fulfill their job duties and the requirements to a secure level.
Mm.
Now, will they make a mistake? 100% yes. We're all humans. They are going to get busy. We get busy. We're going to make a mistake. So you can't hold your users to a standard, this high standard, that they're not going to make a mistake, because they will. But should they have some responsibility? Yes.
Mm.
And you come back to the password thing,
Yeah.
right? The users should should be using password vaults.
Mhm.
Every username and the passwords should all be different. MFA should be applied to everything possible. You shouldn't have a user telling you, well, that's too difficult. I don't want to do that. It takes me longer,
You make a real good user impression when you do that.
Hey, I've heard it so many times, It's just a recording that comes on now.
Right, right.
But you have to have users that are participating in your program,
Yes.
not pushing up against it.
Yes, I like that. They have to be active participants in the cyber program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you get on the bus, you're an active participant of all the people that are on the bus.
Absolutely.
So get on the bus, participate, and let's have fun. And you can make it fun.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, but I just think that they do have a responsibility. What do you think, man?
I struggle with my opinion on this.
Okay. That's fair.
We're both car people to an extent. We give each other, a little bit of shit for our car choices.
Yeah.
But at the same
time, gas guzzlers using up all the oxygen that we're humans are trying to breathe in every day. Yeah.
He says that, chat, because I did just buy a couple of new gas guzzlers to stick in the garage. As a car owner, I know that I have a responsibility to maintain my vehicles, but I'm not a mechanic.
Correct.
And so, when I'm going to drive the car the way that I want to drive the car, the way that I believe the car is meant to be driven, and I'm going to drive the car with an expectation that it's going to keep me safe and it's going to, perform the way that the manufacturer intended for it to perform. And if there is an error, I expect the car to tell me that there is an error in a fashion that I can go seek professional help to address said error.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be a mechanic on my car. And so I think we struggle with informing the user that when there is certain blinky lights, you need to go seek a professional.
Correct.
I think that's where we have failed as an industry. And so I would love to see us mature into a place where users, understand our blinky lights a little bit better than they do right now. But I don't think that we can wholeheartedly accept that a user understands bad when it's presented to them.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you there from a stance of most people that we talk to, they want to come in, they want to fulfill their job, duty, and their role each and every day. And what the business is asking them to do is different than cybersecurity.
Yes.
Right? If they're hiring me, or if they're hiring BitLift, or if they're hiring a cybersecurity individual or firm to come in and help them with cybersecurity, that's our job duty.
Yes.
But you're right in the sense that we do have to help the user with the blinky light. We have to inform them, hey, this is potentially bad. This is potentially, in order, the go, no go scenarios.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And if we don't do that and we don't equip them, then we're setting them up for failure.
That's right.
If your engine didn't tell you that it was overheating, and then you took it back to the manufacturer and it was a melted mess, well, the manufacturer has some sort of responsibility to tell you that the engine was overheating.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
So,
chat, drop it in chat what you think as well. Like I said, the user conversation is always a struggle one, because we're in a battle, right? And we want people to pick up guns or countermeasures to fight off the bad guy. Drop in chat what it is you believe. I do want to talk about the AI vulnerability that you talked about, that you brought up. And I want to preface chat, right? we may talk about AI, we may endorse AI here, we may be really trying to advocate for cybersecurity to move in the direction of adopting and accepting AI, but that doesn't mean that we're not realists. Jason and I are both realists on this. We understand that it is like any other system, it's going to have vulnerabilities, and so it's our responsibility to share those vulnerabilities with you. And so, Jason, your team highlighted and wanted to talk about a great vulnerability in Microsoft's Copilot that you guys had researched.
Yeah, so we are seeing a lot of people with an uptick in Copilot, right? Microsoft is pushing this out hardcore.
They
Lots
are.
of marketing
They are.
around Copilot. Millions of dollars getting spent on getting users to use Copilot. So with like any system, pushed by Microsoft, pushed by the big companies out there, it's going to come with some flaws in the beginning, and it's going to come with some gaps and shortfalls. And so what I wanted to do is highlight something that is called the zero-click AI vulnerability that is really running rampant in the Microsoft 365 Copilot.
Did you say zero click?
Zero click.
Can you explain for Chad, who may not be familiar with that term, what is a zero click vulnerability?
Means that you do not have to even click on the file or click on the item, the attachment inside of the email or inside of the system in order for it to be an active exploit.
Wow.
Right?
So literally like a worst case scenario, you could get sent something in this vulnerability exploitation path, in this kill chain. You can get sent the exploit, and the exploit almost automatically executes without any user interaction whatsoever.
Yep. So this was attached to a CVE. The CVE, if you were wondering, is 2025-32711. So and I'll also state that last week this wasn't patched. This was a vulnerability that was unpatched, and then Microsoft rushed and pushed out a patch on Tuesday of last week. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because my hope is that you have patched your systems with the CVE patch that is fixing this particular issue. But if you have not patched your systems, you absolutely should. You need to go and do this right away, because the problem that exists is zero click.
Yeah.
So it's a major issue.
Yeah, it's a pretty major issue. So what is the vulnerability? What does the attack look like for this?
So a lot of discussions around this, and what we've seen is that the zero click nature, right, of either an attachment or something being passed through the M365 exchange using Copilot, essentially can open up the risk to the user. Now, the risk could be JavaScript. The risk could be some automated attack vector. There were a few that were talked about online, and but what we were telling our customers when we knew that this was not patched and sensitive information could be either exposed, what we were telling people was to disable Copilot for sensitive tasks.
I was about to ask, like, for something like Copilot that's embedded, to your point, Microsoft's turning it on for everybody and forcing everybody to use it. Like, what do you do to mitigate against this?
Unfortunately, at the time, and if we would have streamed last week on Tuesday, this would have been something we would have been telling people, hey, go disable Copilot because it was unpatched. Now that since it has been patched, you're either two things, right? You apply the patch and hope that fixes the problem, or you keep Copilot disabled for sensitive tasks, right? So I hope that's pretty clear. I mean, it doesn't give you a warm fuzzy feeling, but what I want to do is make sure that people know that these types of things are coming to fruition. So if you didn't think that like a zero click vulnerability was a thing, it is a thing.
Yeah.
It came through the usage of Copilot. And you have to make sure that when you enable these things, they may open you up to other vulnerabilities that you were not even thinking of or aware of.
Was it all co-pilots? And Dosco, keep me honest on this if I'm misinterpreting this question. Like if you're saying all co-pilots like ChatGPT, Gemini, Anthropic, yada yada, all co-pilots in that sense, I would say the answer is no on this one. My understanding was this was Microsoft's specific implementation of Copilot in in all of Microsoft's environment. They're kind of back-end co-pilots they're pushing everywhere, right, Jason?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The information that we are talking about right now is solely focused around the Microsoft Copilot.
Yeah.
And the ecosystem that lives in.
Great question from Frazier. And I think it kind of lends itself to exactly what we're talking about here, which is, we're obviously going to start to see more and more of these. And then, obviously there's people who have talked about vulnerabilities in MCP servers and stuff like that as well. How are you guys addressing, or how would you recommend addressing vulnerabilities with AI systems, with copilots, with GPTs, possibly MCP servers? Like, what are you guys starting to strategize around that?
So your detection methods have to change with this. Mm-hmm. Detection methods have to evolve. And what we have been doing is every week we are creating new detection methodologies for detecting behavior that is not normal. Mm-hmm. So what you want to do is one recommendation that we are doing is detecting on behavior that's never been seen before. Mm-hmm. So detect. This is the biggest thing, and I know we talked about this. I think it was about 4 weeks ago on a stream. Was service accounts, mm-hmm. or detect activity on accounts that you don't even think are used by humans. Mm-hmm. But if you are giving an AI or an AI-enabled service account some sort of permissions to go and do something in your environment that helps maybe automate or helps you get your job done easier with AI, mm-hmm. well, now you have to make sure, hey, is that service account or is that system connecting and performing work against the system that I believe it's supposed to?
But again, what it sounds like you're saying, though, is back to what we were talking about with the McDonald's vulnerability or the McDonald's exploit, right? Which is it's still cybersecurity 101. It's still fundamental service hardening 101. It's check your service accounts. Hardening. Yeah, 101.
Yeah, you have to make sure that when you're putting these systems in, that they do exactly what you think that they're supposed to be doing, mm-hmm. and that they are not deviating. Because let's say, for instance, an AI vulnerability comes out, it's unpatched for a period of time, and in that period of time, criminals used it to go and perform exploitations against your environment. If you're not paying attention, you might be part of that, mm-hmm. right? So your detection methodologies, and that's one of the major things that we're going to emphasize in today's conversation is make sure that you're monitoring AI as much as you're implementing it. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
And checking it and making sure that it's doing the behavior that it was intended to do.
Yeah. Speaking of monitoring, you've got another interesting one around behavior, and like this is going to sound like we're picking on Microsoft, but Microsoft's pretty large. They've got a pretty good infrastructure foothold out there for a lot of organizations, so it seems kind of appropriate. But you've got a behavior one on that same vein. Can you talk a little bit about that behavior vulnerability that you're seeing?
Yeah. So. As we were prepping and collecting the information for this, what I think I even mentioned to you about this, like maybe about a week or two ago over a text message, was that it just seems like all of a sudden within the last couple of weeks, there is an absurd number of vulnerabilities with no patches mm-hmm. Available and very little recognition from like Microsoft and the major players in the space.
We don't see a whole lot of noise being made about it like we used to.
Yeah, no acknowledgement. You see cybersecurity researchers talking about this on
Mm-hmm.
social platforms and even showcasing screenshots and the code that they're using that like, hey, this is a real problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
and and then like at Microsoft and then like it's crickets, right? But so let's talk about this
Let's talk about
and
this one then. This ought to be pretty good then.
yeah. So um on July 6th, there was what's called email behavior blind spot identified, and this is happening in Microsoft 365. So the risk here is that um, Microsoft has a blind spot when it comes to M365. I think even to some level, Google Workspace could be in this,
Mm,
but um, it can enable phishing and data exposure via external emails.
mm.
So the risk of this is that if you have left your Microsoft 365 in default configuration,
Okay. Which is not an uncommon occurrence.
then
Let's just make that absolutely clear.
yeah, I mean, like we run into prospects and customers all the time where they haven't gone in and done custom configuration inside of their M365 around their security parameters.
Mm-hmm.
They they migrated over, they assumed the default configuration. And I want to be very clear on this. Default configuration does not secure your environment the way that
Mm-hmm.
you think it will,
Mm-hmm.
right? Microsoft is not thinking about your company, how your company is made up and how your company works
Can you say that
and
louder
how
for the
your
people in
user.
the back of the stream who may not
Let
be
me get
paying
closer to the
attention?
microphone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
People need to hear this.
Microsoft is not thinking about how your users
Mm-mm.
work,
No.
where they work from, and this is why we get so ingrained. Like when we talk about SIM and log management and detection methodologies with SIM, there is no SIM on planet Earth that is a one size fits all.
Yeah.
We have come across Logarithm, we've come across Exabeam, we've come across Microsoft Sentinel, we've come across all of the SIMs out there, and there is not a one size fits all. And so, which means Microsoft 365, Microsoft Sentinel. If you're one of the people that are like, oh yeah, we're using Microsoft Sentinel because it came with
Sure.
our licensing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's not free. Once you start sending logs to that puppy and enabling all the feature functions that you should enable, that baby is going to start charging you.
Yep.
And oh, by the way, there's not a great way for you to before you turn everything on, know what it's going to cost you.
It's funny you say that because I was talking with a CISO a couple months ago, a good friend of mine. We've had him here on stream. I won't out him here on stream. And he went through that. They were trying to collect some logs in their Microsoft environment. And he was like, hey, I'm just going to turn on Sentinel and start sending Defender XDR data to Sentinel. And using Sentinel for being Sentinel because they were getting it for free. He said, Neal,
Yeah.
he said, I ran up $500,000 Sentinel bill in 6 months. He was like, he didn't even realize he ran up $500,000 Sentinel bill in 6 months.
And we have heard from a lot of people too that they just started using Sentinel because the way that Microsoft conveys it is that it's free.
Yeah.
And it's included in your licensing.
Yeah.
But what they don't understand is the storage isn't free.
Yeah.
And all the feature functions, once you start turning on the feature functions that are a necessity in order to do modern day detection methods in there, those are not free.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, Microsoft Sentinel plays really well within the Microsoft ecosystem.
Yeah.
Once you get outside of the Microsoft ecosystem and try sending logs and integration to it, it falls off a cliff real fast.
100%.
But so
default configurations are not in your advantage is the bottom line, chat. That's the bottom line.
100%. Yeah, you need to steer clear of default configurations in most software products. But what we are emphasizing today is the Microsoft 365. Like, I think this is why, like months ago, we had a major emphasis on the Microsoft
Yeah.
configurations, like going in and emphasize. And now here we are, July, 15th, and we're talking about um, Microsoft's blind spot, which could lead to data leakage. It could lead to permissions, like a user getting the wrong permissions,
I'm gonna
and
drop this.
exploitation.
I'm gonna drop this
Yeah.
CVE into chat so folks can see it too as well. But can you tell us a little bit more about this CVE and kind of like what ended up being, kind of the root cause and the exposure for that CVE?
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, it could lead to data leakage. Um, in data is either personal information, it could be data that's in your M365 account. Um, but that exploitation of Microsoft's 365 is direct sending for phishing emails
Mm,
and that type of
mm,
thing that could lead to this.
mm-hmm.
And so I'm glad they came out with a patch, but even with the patch, it's still unclear, right? There is still moderate to high impact. Um, and
Isn't
I
it fair
mean,
to
I'm
isn't
going to
it
say
fair
it
to
again.
isn't it fair to say though that like, hey, and I'll go back to like my days at Abbott and Mondelez, right? I would see these patches, I would see these vulnerabilities, and like let's say that it was disclosed last week. They got a patch in today, right? Today's Tuesday. Yeah, today's Tuesday. They dropped a patch
Yeah.
today, right? You still got a gap where the respectable CISO is going to want to answer the question, how do we know that we weren't impacted this last week? And then there's the forward looking CISO who's like, should I put some countermeasures in place for follow on vulnerabilities in relation to this? Because I don't like, I'll tell you, at the agency, at every red team I've ever worked at every red team I've ever led, at PwC, if we saw a Microsoft vulnerability, we were looking for other vulnerabilities in the general space of that
Yeah.
vulnerability.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, any organization should say, well, we need to test this. We need to make sure that this is actually going to fix the issue. How do we know that we didn't experience the issue in the last week or two or further, right? I mean, when it's a CVE and it finally gets a CVE number, that means somebody has actually addressed it and acknowledged, yep, this is a vulnerability and we need to produce a patch for it.
Yeah.
And then you're 100% spot on with like the time.
Yeah.
The time gap is always the problem here. So if they push a patch today in today's patch Tuesday, I'm not even sure if today is patch Tuesday. I think last
I
week was
think
patch
last week
Tuesday,
was
but
past Tuesday. Yeah.
yeah. So you have to figure out, like, when do I have a maintenance window
Yeah.
to apply the patches, and when do I have the ability to do this? I feel like right now I talk to a lot of people, and when we do chat about these types of things, it's like they're like, literally, I feel like I'm patching just all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yes. So then you need to really look at your patch management program and tweak and tune it to the best that you possibly can, so that you don't feel like you're just a patch monkey, you know? But
The
but
patch the patch
what
monkey thing is very very real. Like I mean I laugh because it's
yeah,
very very real. It's a very real thing. Like um you know you know vulnerability management I feel like is the hardest job of an enterprise. And
yes.
it's yeah, I mean beard sex cynicism showing through inside a chat with continuous patching. We almost need CI/CD for patch management.
Yeah. You know, one thing on this, so if you guys are Googling this and looking at this, the one thing I wanted to make sure that you're doing is you can go in and enable ATP safe links
Mm,
attachments, add tagging
mm,
um, uh, as before, right? Um, and then obviously you need to be monitoring your M36 environment with Sharp. I'm in a obviously you guys know I'm from BitLift, but I want to plug a couple things here. You can look at BitLift Air to help you with this. There's also out in the Microsoft Azure Marketplace, there are other products as well that help you do detection in M365 inexpensively. And because you're not always going to be able to rely on Microsoft's detection methods, or that their configuration is set correctly and it's detecting properly.
Yeah.
This is where I love third parties. I love third party because somebody sat down and looked at it with an emphasis and said, we need to be subject matter experts at detecting in this environment.
Yeah.
And so they created a product to do so.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we've done and several others have done. So I'm not being biased here, even though I'm coming from BitLift side. I'm just saying go and do something.
Your point is do something. Like there's a reason
something.
that there's products out there that exist in this space.
Yeah. Yep. And then obviously if there are patches, go apply them.
Yeah.
But the biggest emphasis today, if you walk away today from this stream on anything, is that you need to be monitoring your environment for activities that might not even be patched, that might not even have a CVE number.
I was going to say, I think that leads nicely into kind of like one of the other things that that you wanted to highlight as well around the sharing links and the broken inheritance.
Yeah. So what we have also noticed, and this is something that has not been patched, this is something that is being actively exploited. It remains a high impact to organizations, is that sharing links and broken inheritance are two current security gaps in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. So as of today, I checked again this morning before we live stream. There is no Microsoft patch that specifically fixes these gaps.
Wow.
So Microsoft
has there been an acknowledgement from Microsoft?
Not that I've seen.
Not that you've seen.
And I did some looking around.
Yeah.
But so Microsoft is supposed to change and include the invalidating of legacy external sharing links to reduce this exposure. So far, none seen, none changed.
So these are share links whenever you like click the click the share button on something like in SharePoint or OneDrive or whatever the case is, and you send that share link out. There's no validation on those anymore. There's no expiry. There's no checks or anything like that that's happening on those links.
That's correct. So you have to make sure that those links and the permissions that you think that you're giving to somebody, they're not automatically inheriting more permissions than what they should on those shared links. So this is a problem. This is a problem right now. We're talking about a current issue, and this is a scary one. So the impact is high. And let me be clear, the gap remains open right now.
Danger, Will Robinson, danger,
Will Robertson. And again, this is an area where there are tools available. BitLift Air is a tool. There's also other tools in the Microsoft Azure Marketplace that allow you to detect these types of things. And I just want to make sure this is another area to emphasize. You need to go and do something, because you could, and most of you probably do, have shared links out there to other organizations where you're sharing documents. And who is going back and like, oh, I've got time today and my cup of coffee, I'm going to go make sure all these shared links are either expired or that's interesting. Like
Dosco's bringing up like the SBOM for links. Can you even, like, in the Microsoft tenant, can you look and see all of the links that have been shared in your organization?
That still remains. I have not seen that.
No. So I mean, how would you even inventory that? How would you even protect against that?
From you can do this. you can audit the sharing via the admin center
Mm,
and PowerShell.
mm,
And you can review the legacy links for their invalidation.
mm.
So it's tedious and
Yeah.
it is a little time consuming,
Yeah.
but that is the recommendation right now.
Yeah.
So almost everybody is subject to this if you have shared documents.
Yeah.
So again, you can go into the audit center.
Yeah.
There's an area in admin center for audit the sharing. You can also do this via PowerShell. I'm not saying it's super user friendly, but I'm saying that there is a methodology to do this. Um, does the methodology need to get
Get ready
better?
to
Yes.
get ready to suck dirt is what you're trying really hard not to say.
Yeah. Yeah. But Microsoft has really not communicated on this, and they have not specifically stated that they're going to fix this anytime soon or give a determination of when it's going to be fixed.
So let's move on to a different one, because like you had one in your notes that I think is kind of a fun one to chat about, because there's probably a lot of folks who have been around this industry for a minute, who listen to the stream on whatever channel we broadcast on, who has utilized WinRAR. WinRAR is hands down the most used free tool long before Windows had any form of packager. It was used ad nauseum to package things up, to unpackage things, to zip things up. For those who don't know, WinRAR is like the number one downloaded, and they give you an option to pay. And I think there's a meme that goes around where, nobody's ever paid for WinRAR. Nobody's ever paid for WinRAR, and they continue to allow it to be used completely and totally for free. Somebody finally disclosed a 0-day for WinRAR.
Yeah. It's being sold on the dark web forums right now. Like it's so if you've got
WinRAR is going to make more money on their 0-day than they ever made on their software.
Yeah, that's it too. I mean, when I was reading this and going through it, I'm like, oh my gosh. But if you think about this, WinRAR is used by millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of the, like, if you're a criminal hacker, you're going to be able to deploy malware pretty easily through this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it's being sold like I would say is relatively cheap, like 80 grand.
In the game of 0 days, that's a pretty cheap 0-day.
Yeah. And I mean, you probably could make your money back in a week, maybe 2 weeks.
There's it brings into question though, Jason, because like, I mean, I think, if we do a little bit of a history lesson, right, there's, open source has been around for a while. People have made software to contribute. To your point, like there's stuff inside of the Microsoft marketplace that goes for, cheap to free, inexpensive. There's, hell, I mean, there's GitHub repos that I use, for things like GRC tools and breach and attack simulation and cyber threat intelligence. And I think we see more and more the predominance of that free / open sourcey, type of content that gets used by enterprises out there. How worried do you guys get when you're trying to figure out like an attack surface of an organization and they've got like a pretty huge open source, ecosystem, or when you're trying to figure out, like, even internally when you guys do stuff at BitLift, I'm sure you guys are trying to do things on the cheap, the efficient, you're trying to make the most out of the open source projects that exist out there. How bad does that keep you up at night?
I mean, it does keep me vigilant. I would say keep me up at night is starting to get lower and lower from a standpoint of, like, I think at some point, like, if it's probably a matter of time before you're going to experience a problem. It's just that all of us rely on so much software out there, and almost all software has some sort of security hole. At some point or another, you're probably going to fight a fire.
Yeah.
So I'm just bringing in reality into the conversation. But when we approach organizations, whether it's BitLift or others that have any number of open source, non-paid for editions of software, you do absolutely have to talk about the risks.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure that you're monitoring those environments at an extreme level.
Yeah.
Because there's no guarantee that there is going to be a patch or something rushed, to fix that. That is the nature of open source.
Yeah.
Now, the community may come around it and fix the vulnerability pretty quickly, but you're doing it based on people's free time and their contribution and those types of things. There's no payment for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where, like, I love, free open source software, but I think it has its place in time.
Mm-hmm.
Should it be in your production environment? Do you have the capability of securing it and
Mm-hmm.
making sure that it's secure 99.99% of the time?
Because there's a tax. There's a tax that you pay in personnel headcount and expertise to maintain it.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if there's no support and if you're not paying for it, then who gets to support it?
Right, exactly. Your internal team gets to support it.
Your internal team. And this is what I don't know. So, like, the executives at an organization. So, like, let's say, for instance, if I'm, director of IT at an organization, and me and the IT team, we decide we're going to use some free open source software to achieve some sort of outcome or result. Oftentimes, we don't make sure that the business knows the risk. And, oh, by the way, if this breaks in the future, or if it starts to not work as intended, like it's working today, we are the ones supporting it. And so that's going to take time, it's going to take money, and it's going to take man hours, and it might even take some development resources from time to time. And so what the business needs to know is that we are not buying this off the shelf with some sort of support package, right?
Yeah.
And oftentimes I am seeing the IT team saying, oh, I love this software, and, I get some job security,
right,
because I'm the person that fixes this and keeps it up.
Right.
But what the business doesn't get to chime in on is wait a minute, we hired you with the intention of doing this.
Yeah.
Not going over here and creating, if you're a manufacturing company or if you're a software company and you create screen sharing software.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't hire you to create, and we didn't go into business to create all of our own security tools.
Yeah.
We went into business to create screen sharing software.
100%. Yeah.
And so what the business needs to know, and the business needs to be able to make a decision on, is that if we also want to take on the responsibility of creating our own security stack.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And creating our own tools and maintaining them and supporting them. And so if an update comes out, and our security stack is broke for an entire day, then the business needs to know our detection methods are down. We're not able to protect ourselves like we're supposed to. And we are actively, the whole team is working on fixing this in this time.
I want to chime in on this for Chad who's listening. If you're working in an enterprise organization and you're like, screw paying $350,000 to insert tip company here, right? Record Future, Anomaly, Threat Connect, whatever it is. I'm just going to go out and deploy OpenCTI and do my own tip, right? I want to address what Jason said from your perspective, because I've led teams where people have come to me and said, Neal, I could just do this myself. I could just do this myself. I can just do this myself. And what I remind my folks who work for me when they come and say that to me is exactly what Jason's talking about, is that, okay, how much of my time do I now have to allocate to you for maintenance, for updates, for handling feature requests from the rest of the team, for you to basically be a software developer inside of the security org right? For you to deploy this open source software. And it may sound like fun for a little while. It may sound like a fun side gig, but now if you're a threat hunter or a pen tester, and I've had this guy work for me. I've had a pen tester who is a brilliant developer who wrote, basically, we didn't want to pay for Jira at the time, who basically wrote a ticketing system to handle software vulnerabilities and disclosures and pen test findings and things like that inside of our enterprise. He built a custom version of this software. And he was a pen tester. He was one of my most brilliant pen testers, but he spent literally 50% of his time updating and maintaining this software and 50% of his time pen testing. And I was like, is that what you want to do? Do you want to be spending 50% of your time doing development work, or do you want to be spending 100% of your time doing pen testing? And I think that that's lost on people sometimes, is where do you see your value? Do you want to do your job, or do you want to be a software developer? Because if you want to be a software developer, you should go be a software developer and not doing cyber.
Yeah. Yeah. It's spot on. And if you're one of these, like, and I've seen it too, where I've had people come up to me and say, why are we spending $50,000 or $100,000 on a software package?
Yeah.
I could go use that you gave a great example, but I could go use this open source software.
Yeah.
And I could go do this thing. And it's like, well, wait a minute. You're feeling like this today.
Yeah.
What happens in 6 months from now or in 9 months from now where you're not so excited about this?
100%.
Right? Or you leave, right? Life changes and you leave. Where did you leave the business?
That's right.
Like you might say, well, screw the business. I don't
Listen
care.
to this, Chad. This is key right here.
But you did the place that you just called your career place for X period of time, the place that you pulled a paycheck, all the people that you worked with that you called teammates and team members, you're leaving them with a huge hole.
Yeah.
And this is why we go buy so much software.
Yeah.
And we rely on other companies that are doing that as a subject matter expert, and their business is to create that software.
Yeah.
And we actually have very little open source free software inside of BitLift.
Yeah.
For that reason alone, is we pay, we can call up and we can phone call and get support, and we can tell people, hey, this is broke, we need it fixed. And then we can hold people accountable to fixing that. But like, I give you an example. I did not get into the business and create BitLift to go after the Atlassian suite software packages, or to create another Slack and instant messaging, or to create, we don't even host. Like, I have hosting in my background. I've racked and stacked so much equipment.
That doesn't mean that you want to do it for your day-to-day job, does it?
Absolutely freaking not. That's why we're 100% out in AWS.
That's right.
And using all of their infrastructure. When I could sleep well at night?
That's right.
It's because I don't have to worry about fiber optic cables and all the other crap failing.
You just got to worry about your. You just got to worry about OpenSearch crashing on you.
Yes.
On that note, Chad. On that note, we were at the top of the hour, and I got to run to a meeting. I had to. I was waiting to get that one in on you.
You're really something. Really something.
Jason.
Anyhow, for the people that really care out there about the stream, there's a whole bunch of these that are going to get uploaded. We're gonna upload them to our repo.
I'll drop that GitHub link into chat for folks. Yeah,
that will be updated and pushed to our repo sometime today. Please give us, if it's not today, look tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
but you'll get to see all of our notes in there, and there's a ton of stuff that we didn't even get time to talk about today.
Yeah. Jason, you want to sign us off for the day, buddy?
Yeah, thanks a lot for everybody being with us today and listening to us. We appreciate you guys. Have an amazing rest of your week. We'll see you again either next Tuesday or the following Tuesday. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Neal's keeping 2 weeks from now. And we're going to have some amazing stuff. The AI keeps rolling out. Go use like Grok 4, Claude, and everything else.
Hey, it's going to be in your Tesla before long.
it's coming by the end of the week.
That's right. That's right.
But here's the thing is have fun with it, play with it. Don't be afraid to break something. Like go have fun with what you're working on and just embrace it and treat those users as participants.
That's right. All right, chat.
So
stay tuned for co-working stream. Other than that, Jason, we'll see you next time.
Have a great week.
I don't take anything for granted. Focused on what I can't control and not about what else could have happened. Find a peace inside the madness. Negativity been a magnet.